Hi gang, all right, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to actually have you do creating some circuit boards, but virtually. Okay, there's a program called TinkerCAD that allows you to do that. The way you're going to get to TinkerCAD is you're going to click on this link right down here. So if you're ready to have today, you're going to wire circuits on a breadboard with software called TinkerCAD. You're going to create 3 circuits with the cloud-based software. First, you need to join Tinkerbell. The way I've set this up, I've already set up an account for you. So all you can do is click on this link right here. Okay, then it's going to bring you in here and it's going to ask for a nickname. See, 2020 Electronics. I might change that to LHS Electronics, but your nickname is going to be your email address. If it doesn't work, please ask me. Send me an email and I will try to respond as quick as possible with the correct one. If it doesn't work right away, I'll just copy it and paste it to in an email and get it to you so you can get into it. Mine, though, is just Andrew Thompson 2020. And then once you get in, it brings you into here. Okay? So once I'm in here, I don't have to, remember, I didn't have an email. I didn't have to do any kind of a password or anything. It just brought me directly in here. I'm going to click on Circuits here. Then I'm going to click on Create. This was just a sample just to play with. There's a lot of things you can do with it. You can do Arduino on here. You can create code for Arduino, have it do different things. So it's pretty cool. But we're going to use it to actually create a digital circuit. So I'm going to click on Create Circuit. All right. This comes up. Okay. The very first thing I have to do is I've got to come over here to Basic and change that to All. Okay. Once I've done that, I'm going to just click, and you got to make sure your mouse stays here, because if your mouse moves over here, it loses this. So make sure your mouse stays over there. I'm going to type in breadboard. There it is right here. This is the one I want to bring in. So I'm going to click, hold my mouse button down, drag it in here, and it's going to appear. There it is. Okay, this comes up. I can give it a name if I want. I'm not going to. Just click off of it. The next thing I need is a power supply. So again, I'm going to highlight this, keep my mouse in that area. I'm going to type in power. Go down a little bit. There it is right there. Click, hold the mouse button down, and bring it in here. Okay. Once I've done that now, I'm going to come over here, bring this up to here. The bottom's going to be my negative, so I'm going to change the color to black. Makes it easier so you see everything that's going on. Come over here, click, and bring this up to the red, or the top one of that area, and turn that to red. Now remember, see if I put my mouse over the breadboard, see that? What happens there? It shows, see the green line going across? It shows those are all connected. These are all connected. So if I put my mouse over here, these are connected. Not up to here, but these are connected, so forth. See that? It shows you what's connected and how the breadboard works. Okay, once I've done that now, if I click on the power supply, you'll see it says 5 volts. That's the default, so you don't have to worry about anything there, okay? Next thing I got to do is I've got to bring it in a switch. So I'm going to type in switch here. Oops. This is a button and a switch. I'm going to use the switch. So I'm going to click, hold my mouse button down, and I'm going to drag this up to this corner right there. Actually, let's bring it up to the top one there. Now I can drag another one, or I can just copy and paste it. I'm going to Control-C, Control-V. Allows me to copy and paste it. There we go. Now I want to show you something. So I'm going to come back to my circuit here. The first circuit I'm going to do. First circuit I'm going to build is right here. A bar B plus AB. So how many inputs do I have? I have 2 inputs, right? 2 inputs. So come back to TinkerCAD. There's my 1 input. I'm going to click on this one. I'm going to title this one A. And I'm going to click on this one and title that one B. Now, in reality, it doesn't matter. It just helps me so I remember what it's named on when I click on it. Okay. Now, what I need to do now is I've got to get power up here. So over here, I'm going to click down here. Drag out, click up, drag out. Let's see what I want to do here. Actually, let me put the negative in. See, the bottom one's my negative. I'm going to do that first. So click here, click here, click here, click here. And then this time, we'll go to the bottom one right there, that one there. Change that to black because that's my negative. And I'm going to do my positive, which is the top one here. And all I'm doing is I'm just putting hot and ground, oops, that's supposed to be red, to the top and the bottom rows, okay? Next thing I need to do is I've got to look at, so I got, my circuit's going to be A bar B plus AB, right? So what chips do I need, or what gates am I use? I'm going to use an inverter, I'm going to use an AND gate, and I'm going to use an OR gate. because A bar means I need an inverter, right? From A, and then AB, well, A bar B means I need an AND gate, and then AB, I need an AND gate, and then the plus is going, those two AND gates go into an OR gate then, okay? So let's do that. First thing, I'm gonna grab my inverter. So it's gonna be 7404, I believe is the inverter. See, hex inverter. Now, I know ours are 74LS04 in that, but we're gonna use this HC is just a different brand type of one, which is what we're gonna use. So this is very important. Do you see how I'm putting this in here? I can't put it here. I can't put it down here. I can't put it up here. I have to put it between these two things. You see that? Because these pins can't be connected to these pins. If I have it up, if I actually put it up here, this pin is now connected to that one. I can't have that. I've got to make sure I have it between these two sides and so forth. Now, if I zoom in and I look at my pins, you see this gives you help there? See that? How it says there's my power, there's input 6, input 6, input 6, output 6, input 5, output 5, input 4, output 4, and so forth. Now we do have the pinout display on here too. I gave you that as well here. It shows you that here. So if I look at the 04 right here, do you see this? This is kind of how, there's pin 1, pin 2. So input for the inverter, and there's the symbol for the inverter, and so forth. And you can see how pin 14 is VCC and pin 7 is ground. Well, the cool thing about TinkerCAD is it does that for me. See that? They're ground. So I know that's got to go to the ground. So I'm going to click in that spot and click down to the ground. Then change this to black. Make sure this is in this row. The first video I did, I messed up on that and it really messed everything up. So now, oops. Zoom back a little bit. Now this one here is my power. So click here, and then the top one is power, I believe. I'm going to double check in a second. Just by moving over it. Yep, the top one is, see that? The top one there is red, and the bottom one's black. So I want to make sure I did that correctly this time, so I didn't make mistakes there. So now, I also need an AND gate. So I'm going to come over here to an 08. If you want to go to the pinout diagram, you can do that. I'm just going to put it right here and understand that I've got the information here for me. See, power, that's going to go to the red. I'm going to change it to red. Just, I'm not requiring you to do the color changes, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you've got to troubleshoot your circuit, it's a lot easier to have colors there. It makes it so much easier to troubleshoot, okay? So the final gate I need is a 32, 7432, which is my OR gate, quad OR gate, okay? Same thing, you got power. All these are the same. Power, red, and black over here. Okay? So now I've got A bar. So I've got to bring A. Well, actually, let me put power in here first. So I'm going to come to this one side here, come over here, come over here, come over here, and come down to the top there, which give it red. And then over here, I've got black. But I'm just going to kind of go up here, like there. Now, I don't have to do the black side, but it's just good. It's being good at wiring. You should always do that. So red, and then black on this side. And again, change the colors so you know you did that. So now my switches, so the outside, so basically what happens is when this switch is turned there, it connects these two pins. When I switch it over to, I can't do it unless the simulation is going, to this side to the right, that means these two pins are connected, okay? So to the left is going to be on, to the right is going to be, to the left is going to be a high, to the right is going to be a low or a zero, okay? So let's think about this. Now we've got to bring the middle one right in here into my inverter, which is, let's see, what does it say? Input 6, so I'm going to go into that one there. Change that to a yellow. And then coming out of it is going to go into my AND gate. So let's go to input 4B right there. There we go. And I'll make that yellow as well. My second one is B, right? I've got to be careful about how I do this because I want to make sure I can still use all the different things. You know what? Yeah, this is fine. So I'm going to come from here now. B goes into my other input of my AND gate there, right? And I'm going to make that one, let's just turquoise. There we go. Okay, and then the output is going to go into my OR gate, right? So this is so there's the input for one input. There's input A, 4A, 4B, and then the output is right here. This output then is going to go into my one of my first inputs for my OR gate. And let's make that, I don't know, brown. There we go. Okay, so now my first A bar, because from here it goes in the inverter, it's A here, then it becomes A bar here, goes into the AND gate, and this is B, and now I just need A, B going to the next one. Now, since this is already B here, my next, there's the output, there's another AND gate right there, so I'm just going to come over here. I'm going to bring it up here to make it a little bit better in terms of wiring. Okay, let's make that turquoise because that's my B. And now I need A. Okay, so this is A bar. I should have changed this. I should change this to a different color because now this is bar. Let's go to a gray. So now this is A here. I have an A in this row, so I'm going to click here, come over here to here, and I know that's A, so that's going to be yellow. A is yellow. So here's A. I could come back here and put it in here if I wanted to, but why? Since it's right here. Now the output of the, so now this is the second AND gate, right? So there's my output for the second part. That's going to go to my second OR gate right there. Let's make that, I don't know, let's make it pink. Then now this is going to go to my, this output here is going to go to my lead. So I got to put a lead in here. Okay, so I'm going to delete here. I'm going to find my, type in LED. There's my lead. Drag that in here. I'm going to put that right there. Now this is a little tricky. So if I look at, see, I put my mouse over that one. It says anode. You see that? It says cathode there. Anode means positive. Cathode means negative. So the anode, since this is a positive coming out of here, that's going to be right here. This is going to be my anode. But now the problem is I've got to get a resistor in my LED. Now I'm not going to put the resistor in right now because I want you to see what will happen if you don't. Okay, so here's my output. I'm going to bring this down here to here to here. And we'll make that purple. Okay, and then I just have to bring, I'm going to come over here to my black there. Okay, there we go. Now this circuit is done and ready to be seen if it works, okay? So I'm going to click on simulate right here. Oh, do you see that right there? Look at that. See that explosion? I'm going to zoom in here. It says this device broke because of current through it is 58.7 milliamps, which is too much. That's bad. We don't want to blow. And that's because I need to have a resistor. That's why you need to have a resistor. Resistor reduces the current. So I'm going to run out. So this line is here. And I'm going to put a resistor in. So let me highlight here, delete, and there's my resistor. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a resistor from there to there. So now this resistor is going from there to there, which connects that. And now I'm going to go to black here, change that to black, and now I've got a resistor in. Okay? Now I'm going to start the simulation. It's on. See how the light's on? Oh, one thing I forgot to do. Let me stop the simulation. Click on this. Do you see right here? It says 1 kilo ohm. Did you see how dull it was? How light it was? It's hard, you can barely see it. That's because I have this way too high. Okay, so I'm going to click on this resistor. Whoops, let me click off for a second. And I'm going to change this to 220 ohms. And I'm going to change this right over here to ohms. Okay, now watch what happens. See how it's a lot brighter, a lot easier to see. So now I've got to go back to my thing here. So it's A bar B. So 0, 1, that's what that is, 0, 1, and this is 1, 1. So those are the only two possibilities this should be on. So right now it's 1, 1, which is on. So we turn to 0, 0, what happens? Oh, it's off. So 0, 1, so this is 0, it's off. I want to turn this on to make it a 1. Light goes on. 1, 0, it's off. 1, 1, it's on. So when it's on, when it's to the high here, it's on. When it's to the low, it's off. So there's 1 this way. When it's to the right, it's 0, 1, right, and so forth. And that's how this software works. So I just helped you and created this one. So what I want you to do once you finish this, however you decide to do it, if you're in, let me turn the simulation off. I want you to just go to, you can go to Snipping Tool if you're on Windows. Snipping Tool right here. The Snipping Tool up here, click on New, and then you can just highlight this. Actually, let me redo that. I didn't like the way that turned out. Let me zoom back a little bit because I want to be able to see the whole circuit. Okay, because then I can look through it and see if it's done correctly. So let me go back to my snipping tool, and I click on this here, and then I can highlight this. I just click, drag, click again, and there it is. And I can save that by going to File, Save As. It'll save it to my downloads. I can upload that picture then to the document.